Hello guys, welcome to the channel The Amazicellent Hacker. Today I'm going to solve the box Wonderland from TryHackMe. So before getting into the walkthrough, please don't forget to subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon. Okay, I'm in the site tryhackme.com. Join the room Wonderland and also deploy the box. Okay, let's start the walkthrough with nmap scan. Okay, to scan the box, just type sudo nmap -sv to enumerate version -sc to run default scripts and the machine's IP. Okay, let's copy it first. I did that already. Okay, let's run it. Okay, complete the scan. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just going to show you the output of scan. Okay, you can see here that there are two ports opened, 22 SSH and port 80 HTTP. Okay, let's start enumeration with port 80. Just copy the IP and paste in your browser. So it opened the page and it says that a cursor and cursor crashed Alice, some sort of text. Okay, let's see if the page source contain anything or not. Okay, there's nothing in page source. Okay, I'm going to run directory scanner. To do that, let's use Dogbuster. I generally use GoBuster, but this time I'm using Dogbuster as it sorts directories recursively. So let me first paste the URL. Let me increase the threads. So I'll use how command the text from dog uses share word list dub and this command the text. Okay, uses word list dub and command the text. So I'll just brute force for directories and enable this be recursive option. Okay, let's start directory searching. Okay, Darbuster kind of found this directory /a/e/b/b/i/t. So let's check what's there in this directory. Okay, I'll just copy it. Okay, we are now in some sort of new page. So open the door to enter the Wonderland. Okay, let's view page source. Okay, there's some sort of credentials, Alice, and how do things or some sort of long password. Okay, we already know that SSH port is open. Okay, let me use SSH Alice address. Okay, what was the IP? 10.10.1.14.93 10.10.1.14.93. Let's copy the credential also. Okay, now we got ourselves initial foothold and we are logged inside this user Alice. There is a root flag. Let's check if we can just access it or not. Okay, we cannot access it as it's neither readable or writable. Okay, let's first find if we can just find user flag or not. To do that, just I'm going to use find commands. So it will just search for user.text recursively in all the directories. If you don't know how to use find commands, I've made another video on find commands, so you can just watch it. I'm gonna leave that link in the description below. Okay, let's first search for user flag. Okay, so this flag is kind of inside the directory where our permission is denied. Okay, now let's search for privilege escalation vectors. So I will start with any scripts that run sudo write. Okay, to check that, just type sudo -l. Okay, now we can just run this user bin python 3.6 with and this script walrus and the carpenter.py python script with sudo write. Again, let's check the script also. So you can see here that this script import this random library and it run this line. So what this script does is just prints bunch of random lines from this poem. So the main thing is that it is importing random and okay, let's check the path of uh, Python libraries. To do that, just type import sys print sys dot path. Okay, you can see here that it checks first in this current directory and then in this user lab python 36.zip and so on. So this script is actually vulnerable to this mechanism that we are going to escalate the privilege using. So this python kind of imports random library from this all paths. So it first searches in these directories. So we can just make a new script or name random.py, which will be malicious script, which will just spawn bash shell and we'll just place in current directory and run this carpenter.py script with sudo write and hopefully we'll get the privilege. Okay, now I'm going to make a new python file named random in this current directory where the script is present. So what this script does is it just run bash. So let me just write the script. So we have to import OS. So OS is used to run system commands in os.system sysjm system slash bin slash bash. So when this walrus and the carpenter.py scripts run with sudo write, it will just import random.py, which is just placed in current directory, and it's our malicious file. So while importing it and running this random.py library, we'll just get a bash shell with spawn escalated privilege. Okay, let's run it. So currently we are user allies. You can check here that we are actually user allies. Okay, now let's run the script. So this script can be run by user rabbit. So we also have to give -u flag with sudo to specify the user. So current user can run this script as rabbit user. So now if our process is successful, then we will just get the privilege of this new user rabbit. So in place of rabbit, if there was root, then we would have gotten the root privilege. Okay, let's copy the scripts. Okay, let's paste it and now let's try to run it. Okay, since we have successfully escalated the privilege to new user rabbit, well, let me clear the screen first and let's check if there is something in this rabbit directory. Okay, there is a file. Let's check it. So it's kind of can just execute it, and also it have SUID and SGID enabled. So this is probably our um, privilege escalation vector. Let's try to run it. So it asks for some sort of input. Okay, let's do that. And as of output segmentation fault go down. Okay, I think it's some sort of buffer overflow, but I kind of just input on that is 4 bytes word. So let's get it and let's check if there are any strings inside it or not. Because strings is not solved in here. Actually, the segmentation fault is just some strings that is just printed out. So it's not actually a buffer overflow. So it doesn't require any buffer overflow exploitation. So let's check what it does. Okay, there's some sort of command also. It echoes probably by and run another date command. Date dash dash date next hour. So what I'm going to do is make another malicious file name date and just run this Tea Party script again. As you can see here that this date doesn't use full path like this echo command. So it uses slash bin slash echo, but date just sorts for its path in path environment variable. Okay, let's first see the or echo the path environment variable. Okay, it searches through all these directories for date. So we are just going to make a new script and export that directory where we made the script to first part of this path environment variable. So let's do that. First of all, I'm going to make a bash script, okay, and name it date. So it does the same thing as we did with our Python script. So it will just spawn a bash shell slash bin slash sh bin bash. So what it does is just spawn this bash shell. Okay, let's save it and clear the screen. Okay, here is our script date that we just wrote. Okay, let's make it executable. So now what we are going to do is export our current directory to path variable. To do that, just type export path slash home slash rabbit and append it to path. Just skip colon and dollar path. It will just append this directory to our path variable. Let's check the path variable. So you can see here that our current directory is just appended to beginning of this path variable. So when we run this script tparty, it will source for date command in this variable first. So here is our date that we just wrote. So this date, the script will just spawn a bash shell. Okay, let's run the tparty script. So if you can get a new bash shell with escalated privilege or not. Okay, let's hit enter. Okay, now we got a new user. We just escalated our privilege from rabbit to hatter. You can see here that we are now a new user named hatter. So let's check how many users are there actually. Okay, there were kind of 4 users. So it's a bit tiring. So this box is a little bit longer than the rest of the. Let's check if it got any pseudo rights or not. We don't know password for hatter. Okay, let's check in directory home. Okay, in home directory of this hatter, it got a password or text file. Let's check what is that. So it's contains some sort of password. Why is or even like a writing disk? Well, let's check if we can use it with our root. SU root. Okay, the password is not working. So what I'm going to do is this. Use that password to check in this if it contains sudo rights or not. Sorry, user hacker may not run sudo on Wonderland. So let me check if there are any SUID bits enabled scripts or not. To do that, just type find slash dash type file and dash permission dash u cost yes. So it will just say check for SUID files. So if you don't know how to use find, I'll just leave the link to another video on how to use find in the description below. Just check it out. Okay, let's run it. It contains a bunch of scripts that uses SUID bits, but nothing out of the ordinary. Okay, now after some time, I kind of ran linpiece.sh and found that this box have capabilities with Paul enabled. Okay, let me show you how you can just search it manually. So I kind of had to use linpiece. So this command get cap the searches for scripts with any capabilities. So dash R for recursive and slash it will search for all the directories and suppress the error. Okay, so you can see here that uh, Paul has this capacity to set UID enabled. Okay, so this is our privilege escalation vector. Let me show you how to escalate privilege with Paul and this set UID capability. So now what we are going to do is just setting the UID value to 0. So 0 is that of root. So we'll set the process UID value to root and execute bin bash. Then we'll just get ourselves an escalated cell. Okay, so we have to just run this Paul command, bin Paul. You just have to use full path as the full path is mentioned here in capability section. Okay, after that dash E for command execution mode. So we are going to use this POSIX module. So we need to import this POSIX QWSetUID library. So what it does, it contains this setUID function inside it. So it will just set the UID value. Next we are going to set the UID value to that of root. So set UID 0. So it's for root, and then execute /bin /bash. Okay, so what this line does, it just set the UID of session to 0, which is of root, and execute bin bash. As you can see here that Paul has the capacity of setting UID, so it will just use that capacity. Okay, now let's run it. Okay, so running this command didn't work in here. It said that permission denied. So what I did was just I used SSH password of Hatter, which I found in the home directory. This password the text. So this one to log in into user Hatter. Okay, let me show you. and just copy the same Paul command, and this time now we can just run it, and we successfully get a root cell. So it's some sort of environment problem. So that's why we couldn't use Paul command in here. So we have to just log in into another SSH session, and we successfully got a root cell. Okay, let's get the flags. Let's check in root directory first. Okay, so there was where our user flag was located. Okay, let's get the user flag. So this is our user flag. Now let's get the root flag also. Okay, we successfully completed the box. So what we learned from this box was we learned a couple of privilege escalation techniques, and we also learned how to use capabilities for privilege escalation path. So this was in this video. So thanks for watching it, and please don't forget to subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon. Okay, bye.